Hi everyone, welcome to Ride or Die, where we like to talk about all things travel, theme parks, and having fun. Today we're going to be talking about traveling with your Nintendo Switch. Not just traveling with your Nintendo Switch, but luxury traveling with your Nintendo Switch. And I'll explain more what I mean about that as we continue forward. The Nintendo Switch, I think, is my favorite console maybe of all time. I've been a gamer, specifically a Nintendo gamer, most of my life. Starting with the NES, the Nintendo Switch has everything that I love, and as someone that travels a fair amount, I'm on the road about 2 to 3 months out of the year, I love to bring my Switch with me, and I love to bring more than just the Switch itself. I like to have a deluxe experience when I'm on the road because it's a little bit of home here when I'm playing my Nintendo Switch console. So, in addition to the Switch itself, I purchased a bunch of different items. I'm going to kind of go over them with you, explain how I use them, how I think they improve my experience when I'm traveling. We're going to talk our way through what some of them do, and you can maybe decide whether you think they're a good fit for you or not. To start off with, we have the very standard case. This case will hold pretty much just the console itself, and then also a few little games. It has a little kind of a game holder in here. These are very common. You're going to see these all over the place. I've even seen these for sale at Five Below. They have them at Target. I picked up this specific one, Amazon Basics, because it was in a color that I liked, and they're pretty interchangeable. There isn't anything about this specific one that makes me say, hey, this is the one that I have to have, other than this color. I like the color, and that's where it ends. This tends to be where my Switch lives when I'm traveling. And again, nothing special about this case, just happens to be the one that I like. So in addition to the Switch itself, I like to bring a few other things that really just kind of enhance the experience. First and foremost, I'm not a big fan of playing like this. I know these little Joy-Cons are great for some people. They're not great for me. They don't feel great on my hands, and my hands tend to kind of cramp up from using them. I don't like looking at the little screen, so I want to try to improve that experience whenever I can. That's going to bring us to the Genki Covert dock. So this Genki Covert dock basically takes the place of the Nintendo Switch dock. That's that kind of large brick that you have sitting in front of your TV. This does the same thing, but it does it in an all-in-one kind of plug. You have a USB-C that goes directly into the Switch itself. You have an extra USB port, and then you have an HDMI, and that goes out to the TV or whatever it is that you might want to use it for. This in and of itself is also a charger. It can be used to charge your phone. It may not be the fastest charger that you've ever seen, but it will work for that sort of thing. So why would I use something like this? Well, let's say that I'm going to a hotel or I'm staying at a relative's house or something like that, and I don't want to play my Nintendo Switch on its tiny little screen. Well, that's where this guy comes in. I can bring along my HDMI cable. I can bring along the USB-C cable that it comes with. And before you know it, I've got this guy hooked up to the television. In addition to that, of course, it's much smaller. It's much smaller than the regular dock is. So I'm able to just kind of slip this into a bag. And as I said before, since it doubles up as a charger, it actually saves a lot of space in my luggage overall. This is a great buy, and I do want to let you know, you might read online that there were some concerns about bricking your console, whether or not that might cause issues with your console. You can read on the Genki website how it is that they addressed what they found were concerns with how the Nintendo Switch gets power, and they duplicated the existing power setup in the original Nintendo Switch charger in this charger. So basically, this operates and is read by the Nintendo Switch like its own native charger. So again, no worry of it potentially bricking your console or you not suddenly being able to use your Nintendo Switch. Now, if you don't want to worry about something like the Genki Covert dock, you don't want to go to the expense, there's always the option of bringing your entire Nintendo Switch and its original dock. That, of course, might take up quite a bit more room, and that's where something like this comes into play. So before I purchased this Genki Covert dock, I actually would take my entire Nintendo Switch with its dock with me when I traveled. So this was ideal for car travel primarily. This is a pretty big box. Again, Amazon Basics, that's the one that I picked, not for any other reason than its color. I really like this color. And, you know, this will actually house, in addition to some stuff that I have in here for right now, it will also house things like the dock. It has a slot for the Nintendo Pro Controller or the Switch Pro Controller, the Switch up front, and then some extra storage here for cords and things like that. So this is a great solution if you're primarily traveling like to someone's house, or you know, you're not necessarily concerned about space and you don't want to spend a ton of money on additional accessories. So this worked really well for me. Now that I'm primarily flying to the places that I go, I tend to not bring this at all. So this is a great solution, again, if size and space is not a concern. But ever since I got the Genki Covert dock, of course, that all went away. Now this Pro Controller case is what I used to cart my Switch Pro Controller around in originally. I tend to prefer to play with the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. However, at the time that I purchased this, I was also really into playing Super Smash Brothers, and not just playing Super Smash Brothers, but playing Smash Brothers with a Nintendo GameCube controller, the old school Nintendo GameCube controller. So this more flexible case was able to hold either my GameCube controller or my Nintendo Switch Pro controller. And in fact, I found that this even holds an Xbox controller with no issues. So this is a very flexible, very versatile controller. Ever since I went a little bit more streamlined with my setup, I decided I wanted to save even more space, and that's where this Tomtoc Nintendo Switch Pro Controller case came in. So this will only hold the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. I believe they make some other variations of this that will hold other controllers like the PS5 and things like that. But this case is really streamlined. It prevents your Nintendo Switch Pro Controller sticks from getting kind of moved around, or stick drift as they call it, happening. It slots right in there like that. You just close it up and you go like that. And you've got exactly the space of the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller and nothing more. So this is great for my carry-on. I really like to kind of slot this down in wherever it will fit, and I don't have to worry about it getting activated or the batteries draining or something like that. When I do like to bring the GameCube controller, and I'm really feeling in a Smash Brothers mood for whatever reason, I will sometimes bring this Nintendo GameCube controller that I showed you a little bit earlier, and I will bring it in this case. But in order to play it on the Nintendo Switch, since it has this old school, kind of old style adapter, I use this 8-bit DOE adapter. This 8-bit DOE adapter will actually connect directly to the Nintendo GameCube or to a Wii remote. If you remember the Wii system, it's got connectors for both ends, and this allows it to wirelessly interface with the Nintendo Switch. So I can bring this, just this, and it will work like a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I don't have access necessarily to the home button the way that I normally would. They've moved that to this adapter. But this can also be my sole controller when I'm on the road. So that allows me to kind of do both of those things without any hassle. When I'm traveling, I also like to bring as many games with me as I can. And instead of bringing all of the cases and things like that, I tend to slot them into this tiny little Game Boy case, or I should say Game Boy card holder. This will hold, let's see, 10 games. You can, of course, get these things with many more game slots and take as many games as you want to on the road. But again, this is a very small package, and it's easy to just kind of slip in wherever it will fit in your luggage. When I'm gaming, I also like to wear headphones. I prefer to have my audio coming through in a way that I can clearly and distinctly make everything out. So for that reason, I like to game with headphones when I game. About a year or so ago, they put an update out for the Nintendo Switch that allows it to natively use Bluetooth headphones. If you have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, you can connect it to the Nintendo Switch and you don't have to do anything else. The audio will come through to those headphones, assuming that they're compatible in all the ways that they need to be compatible. And, you know, just use that as your way of listening to audio. However, there are a few potential drawbacks to that. There is a limited number of controllers that can be connected at any one time. I think it's 2. I could be wrong about that. But I have experienced audio interference when doing that and trying to, you know, play with both Joy-Cons or something like that. So for that reason, I have an additional Bluetooth audio adapter. Now, I actually purchased this before they added the capability for Bluetooth audio. So I have used this pretty successfully. I'm very happy with it. This goes directly into the bottom of the switch. It will, of course, take up the USB-C port, so you won't be able to charge while you've got this in. I think they probably do sell some that might have some sort of a pass-through. This one does not. This is made by a company called Homespot. I was able to get it color coordinated, again, in that color that I really like. But you plug this in, you press a button, it puts it into pairing mode, you connect with your Bluetooth headphones, and before you know it, you're listening to your audio. And again, this doesn't interfere the way that the Bluetooth chip inside of the Nintendo Switch might. I should also add that they have a little spacer if you'd like to kind of add a little bit of room between whatever case you happen to be using at the time and the adapter itself. This will also, by the way, plug into the dock of your existing Nintendo Switch, so you can use it not just in handheld mode, but also in docked mode. And then the final thing that I really wanted to show you, what I think is probably the coolest thing that I have for this entire setup, is an entire portable TV. So a lot of people maybe are not aware that they have portable monitors available. Portable monitors have been around for a few years. Basically, this is a monitor that you can take on the go with you and use when you want basically a screen. This particular one is a 15.8 inch screen. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and we'll talk a little bit about it. So here it is. Basically, what I've got here is a cover, and that cover magnetizes to the back, and voila, we have a pop-up screen. This pop-up screen takes a Mini-HDMI connector on the side, and this specific one I picked because it also has speakers built into it. So it's not just a monitor, it is a monitor with speakers. The reason I wanted that specifically is when I connect my Switch to this display, I'm able to hear the sound from my Switch out of the speakers. It's very nice. It's not very loud, of course. It's pretty, passable, I guess I would say, but it does the job, and I'm able to use this, when I'm traveling and I just kind of want to, pop out some video games and have some fun. I've even purchased angled adapters, and these angled adapters go onto my existing USB-C cable, my mini HDMI to HDMI cable, and they connect to these ports on the side, and they allow the cables to run not out the side but behind the display. So it's got a very clean look, and I'm able to kind of have all my wires tucked away the way that I might want them to be. You might be asking yourself, why on earth would you purchase something like this? What's the purpose of this? Well, it actually has many purposes. I've used this for many things. It would not surprise me if I end up showing this in other videos in the future, because I think this thing is really versatile. First and foremost, I use it for my Nintendo Switch. So there are situations where I am visiting somewhere and I don't have access to a television, but I would like to play Nintendo Switch and I would like to watch TV. So I can pop this out, I can connect it to my computer, and it acts as an extended monitor, so I have a second display. I can connect it to the Switch, or I can even take like a Fire Stick and connect it to it. I can connect an Apple TV and watch streaming content directly on this. So for all intents and purposes, this is a portable television. I'm able to take it with me wherever I go, and it's extremely, extremely light and very thin. I just have to pop it into my bag and we're good to go. There are a lot of these on the market. This is the one that I wound up going with. I'll have a link to it in the description down below. I would recommend that you do a little bit of research. This one's maybe a little bit old at this point, maybe 2 or 3 years old. I'm sure there are other options that are available that might be a little bit more versatile than this one even. This one I purchased because the price was right and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use it, but I've wound up being very happy with it after the fact. So again, do a little bit of research and see if this is going to be the right fit for you if you're thinking about something like this. Well, I think that's going to do it for me and our tour of luxury travel items for the Nintendo Switch. I enjoyed getting to talk about all the things that I bought and have a lot of fun with when I'm on the road. I might do more of these. I also have a Steam Deck. If you like this video, please go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Please subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps us grow, and it helps me know that you like videos like this, and it helps me to know that I should make maybe things like this in the future. So again, thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. I'll talk to you next time.